we're going to talk about what's called the triangle interior angle sum theorem. So to discuss that, let's first look at this diagram here. So let's pretend that this triangle is a piece of paper. So it's a piece of paper in the shape of a triangle. And we're going to look at the angles that are on the interior of the triangle, or on the inside, because that's what the theorem is discussing, is the interior angles. So if I have this piece of paper that's in the shape of a triangle, if I take the top corner and just rip it off, so this black here is representing us ripping that corner. Doing the same thing at each of the corners. So if I rip off the yellow corner and rip off the red corner, rip off the blue corner. Now, if I take those three corners that I just ripped off and I lay them beside one another. So I'll just place the angle that's at that corner. I'll just flip it around so that the angle part is facing in the same direction as the angle of the blue that I've ripped off. So this black here, remember, is the rip. And then I do the same thing with the yellow, so that all three of the angles from those corners of the triangle are adjacent to one another. They're right beside one another. So if I do that, notice what happens. Those three angles, or the interior angles of the triangle, form a line when I put them together. And that will always be true for a triangle. If we rip off the corners and put the angles together, they will always form a line. And well, we know that the measure of a line is 180 degrees. So if the three angles together form a line, that means the three angles together measure 180 degrees. Or in other words, the theorem, which says the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So let's see how we would use that theorem now that we know what it says. So looking at the first diagram, we can see 60 and 90. Well, I know that the sum together has to be 180. So I'm going to add 60 and 90 to get 150 plus x, and I know that that sum is 180. So if I subtract 150 from each side, I'm getting x is 30 degrees. Next, so once again, we have three interior angles. So I know x plus another x plus 80 degrees is going to sum 180 degrees. So I have two x's plus 80, which is 180 degrees. So that means that 2x is equal to 100 degrees, subtracting 80 from each side, which means x is equal to 50 degrees. Moving right along to the next example, similar idea. Except for this time I'm seeing that all of the angles are marked with an x, the same variable. So this is actually an equal angular and equilateral triangle because all the angles are the same, which means all the sides are the same. So I can say x plus another x equals 180 degrees, which is 3x is equal to 180 degrees. Dividing both sides by 3, x is 60 degrees. Let's take a look at the next example. So I have a 90 degree plus the 20 plus x, and that should sum 180 degrees. So 90 plus 20 is 110 degrees plus x is 180. So if I subtract 110 from each side, I'm getting x is 70 degrees. Last one. So same idea, 62 degrees plus 50 degrees plus x is equal to 180 degrees. So 62 plus 50 gives me 112 degrees. And if I subtract 112 from each side, I'm getting 68 degrees, which is the value of the measure of angle x. That also, this last example will lead us into the next topic we're going to discuss, which are exterior angles. So there's another way we could have figured this angle x out using what we know about the exterior angle, but we'll get there in the next lesson. That's it for now on the interior angle sum theorem.